All right, folks, so welcome back to the Building Fredbear series. Last video, we started modeling his body or his torso. In this video, we'll go ahead and start working on an arm, um, see how much of it we can get done. And so what I'm first going to do, go to this workspace up here in the top right, make sure it's on General, and go to Reset Current Workspace. Then, oops, move anything I've done, but I'm going to go to Set Project, choose Fred Project, hit Set, then do a file, save scene as. I'm going to call this one Fred 3, hit Save. So now we're going to go to our quad view. And actually in our outliner, if you don't see it, I'm going to go to Window, Outliner to turn it on. I'm going to go to my torso here. I'm just going to call that torso. That way we can keep track of where everything is. Then I'm going to go to my front view by hitting space. And I'm going to go to cylinder this time. It's going to put it down here. So I'm going to go ahead and bring that up. And kind of move it into place. And we're only going to do one arm since they're pretty much symmetrical. We're going to mirror over the arm once we get it all set up. But I'm going to bring this in, grab my scale tool over here, scale it down to kind of fit the size of this upper arm piece. And then I'm going to go ahead and rotate it a little bit, kind of trying to match it up with the direction that this sample one is going. Now you'll see too that it has some curve to it. We don't have that at the moment, so we're going to have to use a new tool. But first, I'm going to go to right click on it, go to vertex, grab my rotate tool here. I'm going to rotate those vertices. Then I'm going to grab my scale tool, scale the vertices together, trying to get it to match up with the line and the ring around there. This one, grab all these down here. I'm going to scale those up because it's a little bigger. And I'm not going to do too much crazy movement. I may rotate it a little bit, but I'm not going to do any crazy movement with like angles because this little shadow there is kind of, we're going to consider that the flat underside here. But a tool that we haven't used yet in order to be able to bow this line out a little bit, what I'm going to do is go up to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. If I grab that and I click on any one of these edges, the vertical ones, if I click and hold with the left mouse button, it'll allow me to drag up and down to tell it where I want to drop it. And if I keep clicking on those edges and holding, I can put new edge loops that go around the whole object. Now, the thing is that you want to pay attention to, you want to make sure you go click on another object or tool once you're done with putting your edge loops, because you don't want to accidentally put too many, because if you have edge loops selected and you keep clicking, it's just going to keep putting edge loops. But I put 2 of them here. Grab my scale tool with this one selected. If you deselected it, there's an easy way to select an edge loop. If I click with, if I right click and go to edge, and I click on one of these edges with my selection tool, if I hold shift and double click on a edge that is right next to it, it'll select the whole ring all the way around. Then I'm going to grab my scale tool, scale up from the center because I want it proportionate. Then I'm going to go ahead and grab my move tool, kind of shift it over some to line it up. Now, it might not be perfect, but that's fine. grab this next one. Whoops, not that way. Grab the first one, hold shift, double click. Let's just see what it looks like if I just move that over. Yeah, it needs to scale up a little. So what I'm going to do is scale it kind of enough and then move it to center. Then I'm going to scale up from the center. That way it gives it a nice little feel to it. Now I can put more edge loops in to create a smoother finish, but I think we'll be okay here. And so now we're going to go to the side view. You'll notice our side view, we're not even lined up with his arm. So we're going to go ahead and grab it. We're going to right click, go to object mode, inside view, grab the move tool. I'm going to drag it over. I'm trying to center it as best I can on the object. Now, I'm going to quickly turn on off X-ray. You'll see that or if I jump to perspective, this angled face, when I look at it through X-ray view, it looks like it's facing me, but it is actually facing more towards the character, which is what we want. So I'm going to go back to side view. We want this top one to be a little bigger, so I'm going to go grab my selection, go to edge, select this first one, shift click the next one. Going to scale it up. And I'm only doing from this one instead of proportionate because I only want to scale on the side view. And I may actually go ahead and move it over some, then scale some more. Then I'm going to grab the next one, hold shift and double click, scale it up. You'll see that it's reaching the back one a lot faster. So I'm going to scale up a little past that, grab my move tool, move it over, do the next one. This one I'm going to actually move to the center so it looks even on both sides and show you that if I scale up, I might be able to hit both edges at the same time. And then you'll notice here, we can see the underside of that. Now ours doesn't angle quite as much, but I think it'll work based off of what we did in the front view. I'm going to double click to select that entire ring. And it looks pretty well centered, so I'm going to scale it up, trying to get it to touch edge to edge. So now let's go to perspective and see what that looks like. All right, so that is kind of his forearm. Now, like I said, we're making it more like the action figure. And so in that, his shoulder has a joint, his elbow has a joint, and his wrist, I believe, has a joint. We'll double check that before we do it all. But I do know that the shoulder and the upper arm are connected. And so the next thing I'll show you is making this little bitty connection right there. And so to do that, what I'm going to do in my perspective view, I'm going to go and right click on my arm, go to face, and I'm going to shift select each of these top faces. I'm going to show you another tool that I like to use when modeling. So I'm going to, with them selected, I'm going to go up to mesh tools, sorry, not mesh tools, edit mesh, extrude, or you can use the shortcut Control E. When you do that, it's going to put this gizmo on there. I'm going to click on one of these boxes, which is the scale feature. And then I'm going to click on this center box, the yellow one, and I'm going to scale inward. And what extrude does is it creates a new set of faces as you're scaling that down. Or if I would have pulled it up, it would create a new set of faces. Then I'm going to hit Control E or extrude again, and I'm going to pull it up to create that little joint or piece of structure that's going to connect those. Now I'm going to go ahead and do Control E again, grab my scale option again, scale it up, and if I rotate in my perspective view, to rotate, if you haven't figured it out, is hold Alt and hold left mouse button down while you pivot around. You hold Alt and the middle mouse wheel allows you to pan. So middle mouse will also let you rotate. And if you get to the point where it won't let you rotate or focus on the piece you want, just press F and that focuses. All right, so now what we're going to try to do is we're going to do, now that we've scaled it up to create that little piece there, we're going to try to do Control E again. We're going to pull it up a little bit just to create the bottom there. And so with that, I think because we're going to get into some much more complex stuff and try to make this crazy curve the next time, I'll go ahead and we'll end this video now. So let's do a file save so that we've got his kind of his upper arm here and the part where it's going to connect to his shoulder. And then in the next video, we'll work on his shoulder, and then we'll work on creating the next part, which will be separate for his forearm. All right, so again, do a file save, and we'll see you in the next video.